Yeah.
We are, but no one's watching. So.
No, I know. She said it says the 13th at 6:30.
13th.
I could do on the 12th.
It's problematic.
I know.
Because we won't be around tomorrow night.
Okay.
One viewer, is that you?
No? 3 viewers. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Sorry, we have technical difficulty. You should come in.
We'll just go ahead.
Yeah, well. Just waiting. Yeah. Very professional.
Hi everyone. Sorry about that technical hitch, but welcome to this live chat. I hope there are some of you out there because I think there might have been a bit of misinformation, but we're going to go ahead with it anyway. So this is the live chat course, the museum as a site and source for learning. And we're going to go ahead. First of all, can I introduce myself? My name's Anne Wallace. I'm one of the educators with the course. And this is Martin Craig, who's the curator for the Inner City exhibition, which we've been looking at this week. So we're just going to go ahead and hope that there are some questions. If there are not, I've taken some questions from some of your comments from the course, and I'm going to ask Martin then. So first of all, I'm going to ask Martin just to remind us a little bit about the exhibition. So could you do that, Martin?
Yeah, sure. So this exhibition is called Inner City. It has 3 artists in it. It has Macmillan, who's done Inner City, which is this model you can see behind us here. Alberta Whittle and Mitch Miller, both are Glasgow-based artists that have very different activities. Both kind of talk about community, urban communities, and kind of city urbanisation.
So how's it been going? It's now obviously, have you picture figures? And
yeah, so we had really good press at the start of it. So Goma on an average on a Saturday would maybe get about 1,000 visitors, when we actually had 3,000 on that Saturday. So it was a really big uplift, as well as the Sunday as well. So that was really good, and then we've had a few good reviews. So Goma has 4 galleries. So this is actually one of the smallest gallery in the museum. So we have our exhibitions going on, so you kind of see these peaks and troughs that happen. So gallery 4, so we get more boosted visitors, and also it's summertime, so we've got a lot of international.
It's sunny outside, yeah, which keeps people away. So one of the questions one of our learners was asking about the selection process of the artists. You did explain in your video about how it all started, because obviously museums owned the sculpture, but how did you enlist the other 2 artists? What were your criteria for that?
Okay, so well, the criteria for our artists, I guess, exhibitions can often start a fairly organic way. You usually either have something that you want to say, or there's a particular artwork. And this one was quite lucky in the sense that both matched. So we had a particular artwork that's in our city that were being conserved, and hadn't been on display for 20 years. But also, Goma as an organisation was thinking we're city centre, so we were really thinking about what that means to be city centre, what is our local community, and also Glasgow just now has had a shift, as with a lot of cities around the country and around the world, with increased migration, different population shifts, but also economics as well. Glasgow has some of the most culturally deprived, most culturally mixed areas in the city, but also some of the most deprived areas in the UK. Not necessarily both at the same time, it has to be said. Those areas can be very, very different. So there has been local artists that I've been interested in, and Mitch Miller and Alberta Whittle were 2 of those artists anyway. So it came together quite well in that manner, because I wanted to work with artists, and then they had a voice for what they were wanting to talk about. But at the same time, with the exhibition, there could have been numerous other artists that I could have had in this exhibition, but those ones were selected because it really was how the artwork also fitted together conceptually, but as well as visually.
And And what has been their role now that the exhibition has started, now that their work is up? Are they still involved in it?
Yeah, so they are still involved. Normally artists would say they might come back and do some artist talks or a couple of things here and there, but we've actually went sourced extra funding so that Mitch and Alberta can be associate artists. Gomez had associated us through the years, and we've used these, we don't call them artist residents because it's a very particular thing. Whatever associate artists, really what we want them to be is to kind of come in and kind of be what an artist should be, which should be kind of challenge and instigate conversation, and then not just come in and accept what's around. So we're looking for them to have different voices, and in particular Alberta and Mitch have very different backgrounds and work with very different communities and audiences. So that's why we wanted that to come here rather than just having the kind of museum voice. So we wanted to explore that. So they've got a whole year working with us as a museum. So I actually just going to go past the exhibition, which is great. It's not just looking at the organisation itself.
That's really interesting and worthwhile. And are you going to do anything with the work that they produce? I know Mitch is doing dialect with some communities. Will that be exhibited?
Actually, no. Well, we might show it in some other form, but the good thing about the associate artists is we've always said whenever we have them, there doesn't have to be an outcome. The outcome is the conversations and what they do. I mean, Alberta, for example, is going to do performances. She's going to take some communities into our stores. We've got over a million objects, so they're going to go in and look at objects that have been like displaced or essentially not from that original community, and they're going to like sing lullabies to it because Alberta talks a lot about voice and change. So there will be something for the public to go and see, and there'll be that will inform their work. But it's about artists being able to be in an organisation like Glasgow Museums and explore their own practice.
Good. Now, we've been looking a bit at things like people with visual impairment and deaf people in museums. One of our learners was asking about what provision you had made for people with visual impairment within the exhibition, or indeed with any impairments. Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Yeah, so we try our best to obviously try and open up the gallery for as many people as possible. Through the years, we've often tried things like every time we have an event or a talk, we have like BSL sign language, but actually it ended up that we were paying for this BSL person, but BSL people had difficulties weren't coming to them. So in the end up, because of economics, we were kind of saying, well, actually now we just put on it as well as visual impairments. If you have any kind of impairment or like that, then tell us beforehand, and we are trained to do like visual impairment tours, or we can get people in to do.
So would these be descriptive tours?
Yeah, so obviously
would you be allowed to touch anything with
no, well, it depends on obviously what's on display and then what is that particular audience member's needs, you know. So we have a wide range. Obviously, if the work's fragile, then we wouldn't be able to touch it. But say, for example, when we do that in our museum like Kelvin Grove, where you've got like marble busts that can be touched, can do that kind of thing. So yeah, so we do offer those. We offer that.
And do you have much up?
To be honest with you, it depends on the museum. We don't have that much uptake in Goma, but we do have it in various other of our museums. But also when we do extra kind of AV or like say for video content, like so if we've got people talking, we always make sure there's subtitles and BSL sign language and things like that. But this exhibition was quite interesting in thinking about accessibility, because you might notice that this is very high up. About 5'10", 5'11", and the artwork is just coming to my shoulder. You can see mine's a wee bit smaller there.
I'm actually sitting in a stool.
So when this comes in, the Glasgow Museums have display standards, and that is part of it is to do with make sure of accessibility. So we always make sure that our font size is really big so that people can read it. We always have large print as well that people can have, or the labels are always at a certain height, and usually that includes hanging, as in hanging 2D work, but also 3D work, and plinths. So these plinths are much higher than what they would ever be. So when that was seen within the organisation, there was a conversation, design raised and learning access raised. Well, that's high up, that's an accessibility issue. But then we have to work with the artist and ask him why he wanted it so high. And he specifically wanted it higher because one, it talks of the visual language that he came from, which is filmmaking, and when you make a film set, it's a lot higher. Also, he didn't want it to be like a doll's house, so doll's houses usually play with being down the way, so we wanted to make it distinct in that. And then for me, there's a kind of a conceptual side to it as well. So this was made in the 70s, the time it's an LA slum, all the rich people were living out in the suburbs of America. And then this was being shown in something like the Whitney was in New York, so rich people were then being faced with these slums that they were essentially avoiding in their own city. So you wouldn't want, I personally think that Michael wouldn't want those rich people looking down on these slums. Yeah. So he's physically made them look up and actually have this right in their face. So there's a few reasons of why the artist wanted it. To be fair, he did agree to bring it down slightly to help us a wee bit, but there was a certain level that he wouldn't. So he had a bit of negotiation. So we had to think of other ways to help accessibility. So what we have done is we've filmed it and we've taken good photographs so that if anybody, smaller children or anybody in a wheelchair or anybody who's just a bit small, can then look at it in the iPad. It's not the same, but you can, it's because of the detail, but part of the experience is to stand back and see the city almost like up on a hill, so they do get the experience, but they want a wee bit more detail. We try and work out ways to help them do that.
Good. One of our learners was remarking that it seems very rich in terms of the content for teenagers to explore some of the issues. Is that something you're addressing? Are you working with young people?
Yes, so in Scotland this year it's the Year of Young People, so every year Scotland usually has different, the Scottish Government has different themes and kind of gets behind it, so there's a big push on young people, although that's a broad spectrum, that's like 14, 26 or something. But yeah, young people are also quite a hard audience for museums in general to get, but then contemporary art, talking about contemporary issues, it is usually one that young people engage with more than, say, our Burrow collection, which is a wee bit more like Renaissance and things like that. So we are using this, we see this exhibition as a really great opportunity to try and connect with those audiences more than what we normally would. I mean, you have something like a model and it's talking about films, and Michael McMillan worked on like things like Blade Runner, so it's a big draw. But then you've also got Mitch's work with his dialectograms, which is very much in the style of a kind of comic book to a certain extent, but also a wee bit like architecture. So he's kind of mixing that, and his drawings are very well done, but they're relatable. They're not like, wow, it's more about the mass of them rather than the amazing, lifelike detail of it, so people can feel that you're on it. And then Alberta again has like what's a nice colour in it, and there's dance and music, and then also with Alberta herself to connect to other communities around the place. So yeah, there's a lot of good links with teenagers, but they're a tough audience.
Well, we found that out from our research. We're going to move on a little bit now to some of the other topics within the course, and one of them is looking at the role of the curator now in the 21st century. One of the lists we were given was curators were now described as storytellers, entrepreneurs, fundraisers, facilitators, and the storyteller came out top with the comments, and I just wondered if you agreed with that. How do you see your role, and are there any descriptions or titles you would give yourself in addition to that, or would you be happy with that description?
Yeah, no, that's a lot of good phrases and a lot of good words to think about. I mean, interestingly, my job, my actual title is Learning Access Curator, so I have loads of jobs within my own role within it. So I've got to look at text, I've got to look at public programme, but I also curate actual exhibitions. But I would say that even though we're a big team, it's Glasgow Museums, you do need a wee bit of everything. So project management, social media, marketing, all these different things. And then you've got to give tours, so you need to be able to vocalise and be able to get your point across. Yeah, confidence. But I would say that storyteller is probably a good main cornerstone.
Yeah, how do you see storyteller? What would that mean to you?
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, in a traditional sense, but for me, I guess it's about whenever you're in an exhibition, so even at the very start, when you need to get funding, you need to really tell the person what you're, whether that's internally or externally, you have to really tell them what your key message is, what you want to get across, what will the audience get out of it, and that's storytelling, really. So in its broadest sense. So you need a good story, you need a good hook, and you need something in there. Whether this artist is amazing and you can describe it, but then for this one, the story is has a lot more layers and stuff like community and urbanisation and things like that.
Well, just to finish off, could you talk a little bit about labels and how you feel about them in terms of, do we need them in contemporary art? Do you get a lot of artists saying they would prefer not to have interpretation? Do they interrupt the visual flow of an exhibition? Anything at all you want to say about labels? Okay, so Gallery of Modern Art is part of Glasgow Museums, and as a museum, I guess what standards is completely different if you go to, say, our flagship museum, Kelvin Grove. You'll go in and there'll be a dinosaur and there'll be a label next to it. That's what's expected. Going with contemporary art, as you said, sometimes there's a lot of things that can be challenging with that. Artists may feel that they don't want to write too much about it, to give too much away. They might want to quite clean so that you've got, so that they're not interrupting the artwork. And these kind of things challenging. Sometimes also artists can describe their work in very challenging words as well. And so as my role as a learning access curator, I have to look after my own exhibition. I also have to look after our fellow two curators in here. And my role is to think like the audience and say, well, will they understand that word? What will they get from that artwork? So very often I am sometimes challenging my own colleagues and saying, no, like, well, this isn't enough, we need to either simplify it or actually we do need a label just to let it in. Because a lot of times artists, when they talk to us, they really talk passionately about their work and they're very clear about it, and that's what gets us to love the work. So why hide that from the audience? But then I play guitars by myself, and I do understand sometimes that argument of not wanting to give too much away, but I often challenge them and say, well, you don't need to explain what it is about artwork, but just give somebody and so that could even be just like what the artwork is, or what artwork is made from. Sometimes that can be enough of an in. For example, Alberta's work in there's a jawbone from a cow from a plantation that her parents, not parents, she's not that old, her ancestors worked on as slaves. So as soon as you know that that's there, it's quite an important thing for somebody to hear about. But if you didn't put that in a label, the audience would just see it as a jawbone, don't have that instant connection with what the artist is trying to say. You like a label?
I do like a label. I mean, yeah, definitely. And sometimes now, again, controversially, depends on how you use the technology, but nowadays there is ways of making labels so you can have, you can scan artworks or QR codes that might give you an audio guide or your label, which is great because it keeps it nice and clean. But then you have to think, well, does your audience, can they afford a smartphone? Are they technologically adapt to be able to do that? So yeah, there is ways around it, but at the same time, you might be then blocking other people's access.
Good. Okay, thank you for that, Martin. That was really interesting. I can see I've got a very red face. That's because we're also stressed out trying to get this set up. I've got a feeling that this isn't going out live just now, but hopefully it's recorded and that you'll be able to see some of these interesting answers to your questions later on. So we'll just say goodbye for now. Thank you.
Thanks very much.